Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera. We're gonna present about our project which is HFMD Early Screening System. So my group members is Nawa Iza, Nur Fariha, which is me, Rashmika, and Anusia. First thing first is what is HFMD? So HFMD is a hand, foot, mouth disease where this is type of disease is commonly affects infants and children under the age of 5. And most of the symptoms, the basic symptoms is fever, sore throats, rash on the hands, feet, and mouth. What is early screening system is it's help in identify the common symptom of HMFD, and it's also can be used by medical or non-medical person that will help in early detection and reducing time. So the purpose of early screening system is we build an expert system that can be used by anyone, especially parents or teachers, that when their child is sick or they have a symptoms like fever or sore throat, and usually they will like, oh, what is this? I don't know what happened. So this system help them in identify if the child affected by HFMD or not. So this is the purpose of our early screening system. So the problem background is all the early screening I do manually by going to the clinic or hospital. This will consume time of the parents patient. And by going to the clinic or the hospital, increasing the spreading of the disease because HFMD can spread easily through contact. Usually HFMD is affected by children. So we know that children is an active person. So when we bring them to the clinics, they will like play around, touch around. So it can be one of the factors that the disease will spreading. One more thing, a system that can help in early screening is not being developed yet, especially an expert system that can be used by not just a medical person, because we know when things that related to our health, mostly only a medical person that can use. So non-medical person like our parents, the parents, the teachers, they don't know there is some application that can be used because the terms of the application that built for the medical system is like not a user friendly system. So the objective of our project is the first one is to research and analyze the requirement to build the expert system, which is early HFMD early screening system. The second one is to replace manual effort and time spent to identify the symptoms of HFMD. So user can just open the system and they can answer several questions that related to HFMD. And if the uh, the result is in a positive way, they can just go to the clinic or hospital and say to them that I already have the early screening and I want to check my children of their HFMD to double confirm it. And the third one is to develop a system that can be an early screening system to identify HFMD using CLIPS programming.
Hello, my name is Anusia. So now I'm going to explain about data collection and facts. So data collection is a procedure of collecting, measuring and analyze accurate information for research using standard validate technique. Okay, so based on the data that we collected, we developed rules and facts for the system. Okay, so now I'm going to explain about the rule. The rule one that we insert is based on the temperature, and rule two is about the patient's condition, and rule three talks about the suspect of HFMD, and rule four is about the patient's age, and the last rule is about the blister of HFMD. So based on all this information, we we develop the system and we collect the data. So now I'm going to talk about methodology. So there is two type of methodology. The first methodology is interview. We as group member of four interviewed Dr. Masni, who expert in the medical department about HFMD disease. Our interview was conducted via Google Meet. A list of questions was prepared before conducting the interview. So several questions were asked such as the symptoms of the disease, the type of virus, the causes of disease and how to prevent the disease. So based on the information given by Dr. Masni, it was very helpful for us to make rules and develop the system. So the second methodology is online research. Online research is a method that involves the collection of information from the internet. So we collected some data from the internet before we conduct the before we conduct the interview. The questions were asked about the data based on the data we collected, and we did research on what is HFMD, what are the symptoms, and which group, which age of the people will be highly affected. Does this disease spread or not? And this disease can be treated or not, and how to prevent. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Rashmika and I'll be presenting about the tree graph. The tree graph is created based on the rules that were earlier mentioned by my teammate Anusha, and this tree graph is used to present the facts because it would be easier for the non-medical users to understand. As you can see, the first rule is the patient is below 6 years old and the patient has fever less more than 37 degrees Celsius, and next blister on hand, feet and mouth only, and then it suspect the patient has HFMD symptoms, and when it's all confirmed, it you can assume or you can accurately say that the patient has HFMD disease. So this graph is usually used um in order to like some non-medical users won't be able to understand the medical terms of this disease. So when we have a simple graph to explain which is the first thing, like the first rule, the second rule, or even the symptoms, it would be easier for them to identify and it would be easier for them to use the expert system.
Okay, next, we will go for the demonstration. First of all, we need to load the coding HFMD2. Okay, then we will reset and run the coding. Uh, the system will ask for age. Then the next question is, does patient's temperature more than 37, which is the rule for the fact that the user has fever or not. If the answer is yes, then the system will accept the fact that patient has fever. Yes. Next, the question, does the patient has blisters only on hand, feet and mouth, which is the rule for the fact that the patient probably has HFMD blisters. Yes. Next, we will accept the fact that the patient has symptom of HFMD because the patient has fever and patient probably has HFMD blisters. And next one, we will run the code. This different code suspect HFMD. Then we will run the code that patient has HFMD need to be quarantined. That's all for me. I will pass to Rashmika for the result.
As for the results and discussion, you can see that the code is executed. Once the code is executed, each and every rule of the code is separately initialized in order to in order sorry okay now is results and discussion. As you can see, the results and discussion has been presented, and the first thing is the rules should be executed one by one in order to initialize the code in the facts table. As the code has been initialized, a question will be asked to the user. The first question is asked is about the patient's age, and once that is answered, whether it's below or more than 6 years old. And once that question is answered, it goes to the next one, where which is based on the code, which is whether the patient has fever more than 37 degrees Celsius. So once it's answered yes or no, it will execute to the next question, where if the patient has blisters all over them. If the answer for the both questions is yes, the output of the system will be presented as the patient has HFMD. If the I need to be quarantined. Likewise, if the user answers no, the output will be maybe caused by other disease. And not only that, if either one of the question is answered yes and no at the same time, the code won't be able to run. So that's all for me. I'll pass it to my teammate.
So for the conclusion is, we won't the expert system can help in identify the HMND, will be a lot of help in medical and medical field. And a system that is user friendly will reduce time and help in decreasing the percentage of spreadness among the children at preschool. This is because when we put this expert system, our target is the teachers in preschool. So before the kindergarten child go to the schools, they will have a and routine early screening, not just on HFMD, but maybe one day we can build a expert system that can identify if the child is have a fever, just a fever or a flu or anything like that, or the child is not in a good state. The early screening system will help identify it, and it will prevent from the sickness to spread among the child in the kindergarten. So this type of expert system might be really helpful in future, and if it develop in a great way, it can be a business model expert system. So that's all from us.